Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are going to understand what a JWT token is. So if you have started learning backend development or APIs, you have probably heard people say things like generate a JWT token or send the JWT in the authorization header. By the end of this video, you will know what a JWT is, why we need it, what it contains, how it works, and why it is secure. So let's start with the problem first. Imagine you open an e-commerce website, you enter your email and password and click login. The server checks your credentials. If they are correct, it knows who you are. Now suppose you open your profile page, then your orders page, and then your cart page. Every one of these actions sends a new request to the server. Now think about it. How does the server knows that all these requests are coming from the same person with that same email and password? It can't ask you to enter your username and password every single time. That would be frustrating, right? So after you log in once, the server needs a way to recognize you on every further request. This is the problem that JWT solves. JWT stands for JSON Web Token. Think of JWT as a digital identity card. So when you successfully log in, the server creates this identity card in a form of token and sends it back to your application. Your application stores that token. Now, whenever you make another request from your web app, it sends this token along with the request. The server looks at the token and says, yes, I know this user, and that's how the server identifies you without asking you to log in again. Now let's understand the complete flow. Step 1, you enter your username and password. The application sends them to the server. The server checks if they are correct. If they are, it creates a JWT token. The token is sent back to the application, which is saved to the local storage or any other mode of storage. Now suppose you request your profile by hitting /profile URL. Now instead of sending your username and password again, the application simply sends the JWT token to the server. The server verifies the token, and if it is valid, it returns your profile. The same happens for your cart, orders, settings, or any other protected API. So after login, the token becomes your identity for your further request. Now let's answer the next question. What exactly a JWT contain? So JWT has three parts: header, payload, and signature. And these three parts are separated by dots. For example, header, .payload, .signature. Let's understand each one. The first part is header. The header contains information about the token itself. For example, it tells the server which algorithm was used to create the signature. A typical header look like this, like the type is JWT and the algorithm used is HS256. Think of header as a basic information about the token. The second part is payload. This is the most important part because it contains information about the user. This information is called claims. The payload may contain values like user ID, name, email, role, permissions, issue at, which tells the token was created at, then the expiration time, which tells when the token should stop working, issuer, which tells who created the token, audience, which tells which application the token is meant for. So this is the example like how the payload might look like. And here is some very important thing. The payload is encoded. It is not encrypted. That means anyone who gets the token can read this information. They can use jwt.io site, paste the token there and directly decode it. So it is not encrypted. So never store passwords, OTPs, credit card numbers, API keys, or any secret information inside a JWT. So JWT is meant to identify the user, not to hide the sensitive data. The third part of JWT is signature. This is the part that protects the token from being changed. The server creates a JWT. It does not add the header and payload. It also creates a signature using three things, which is the header, the payload, and the secret key. This secret key is only stored on the server. It is never sent to the browser or mobile app. Now imagine the original payload look like this: role is equal to user. A hacker somehow gets the JWT token and they change the payload from user to admin. Changing the payload is easy, but there is one problem. Like, they don't know the server secret key. So without that secret key, they cannot create a new valid signature. So hacker sends the modified token to the server. When the server receives it, it does not blindly trust the signature that is inside the token. Instead, it creates a brand new signature using the received header, the payload, and its own secret key, which is stored inside the server. Right. Now, server has two signatures. The first one came inside the JWT, the second one which was generated by the server. If both the signature are same, the token has not been changed. If they are different, the server knows somehow the modified token after it was being created. So immediately it rejects the request. That's how JWT protect the data inside the token from being tampered with. Let's see what a real JWT token look like. It usually looks something like this: a long first section, then a dot, another long section, then another dot, and at last a third section. The first section is header, the second is the payload, and the third is the signature. You don't have to remember or read these values, and the most important thing is understanding that every JWT has these three parts. Now let's see what happens when server receives a JWT. The application sends the token with the request. Right, the server first checks whether the token is valid, then it generates the signature. If the generated signature matches the one inside the token, it knows that token has not been modified. Now it checks the expiration time. If the token has expired, the request is rejected. If everything is correct, the server accepts the request and returns the requested data. Now you might wonder where this token is stored. There are three common places: HTTP only cookies, local storage, or session storage. For modern web application, HTTP only cookies are generally considered the safer option because JavaScript cannot directly access them. Some applications still use local storage depending on the requirement. So where it is stored depends on how the application is designed. You will usually find something like this in an API request. Like, there will be a authorization header, then it will have a value starting with bearer, then the JWT token. The word bearer simply means I'm presenting this token as a proof that I have already logged in. The server reads the token, verifies it, and decides whether to allow the request. Now let's look at the advantages. The server does not need to store the login sessions. It works well with the API request. REST APIs, it is fast because server can verify the token directly. It is widely used in modern applications and mobile apps, but there are few disadvantages too. If a token is stolen, it can usually be used until it is expired. Once a JWT is issued, revoking it before its expiration require an additional mechanisms such as maintaining a server-side block list or using short-lived access token with refresh tokens. So JWT is powerful, but it should be implemented carefully. Let's quickly recap everything. This is the complete flow. The user logs in. The server verifies the credentials. The server then creates a JWT token on its own secret, which is stored inside the server. Then the server sends the JWT token to the application, which is stored inside it. Then every further request sends the JWT token. The server verifies the signature. The server checks whether the token has been expired. If everything is valid, the request is accepted. If not, the request is rejected. That's the complete life cycle of a JWT token. In the next video, we will understand another concept, which is JWT versus session authentication. What's the difference and when should you use it? So let's meet in the next video.